The restaurant glows with warm golden light. Candles flicker on white tablecloths. Tom lifts his wine glass, grinning at his colleagues around our table. I'm picking at my salmon when he says it. Not everyone gets to nap while the rest of us work for a living. Laughter erupts. My fork freezes midair. My stomach drops like I've been punched. Did my husband just mock me? In public? Heat floods my cheeks. I glance around. Everyone's laughing, clinking glasses, like it's the funniest joke they've heard all week. Tom doesn't even look at me. He's basking in the attention, chest puffed out, eyes sparkling. I force my lips into a smile. My throat tightens. I blink fast, fighting tears that threaten to spill. 3 months ago, I lost my job. Tom promised he'd support me. He said we'd get through it together. But sitting here, humiliated in front of strangers, I realized something cold and sharp. His support had conditions. And I just failed to meet them. My name is Ella. I'm 33 years old. 3 months ago, I was a marketing director at a wellness company called Bloom & Company. I loved that job. I had a team, creative projects, and respect. Then the company restructured. They called it streamlining. I call it devastating. I was let go on a rainy Tuesday afternoon. My boss handed me a box and said, "It's not personal. But losing your livelihood always feels personal." I cried in my car for 20 minutes. Then I dried my eyes and drove home. Tom hugged me that night. He said all the right things. "We'll be fine. You'll find something better." But as weeks turned into months, his tone changed. The warmth faded. Now, 3 months later, I'm still unemployed. And tonight, at this dinner, I learned exactly what my husband thinks of me. The word nap echoes in my head. Like I'm lazy. Like I'm worthless. I stare at my plate, my appetite gone. The day I lost my job, I sat in my car holding that cardboard box. Inside were my desk plant, a framed photo, some pens. My life is reduced to objects. I wanted to scream. Instead, I opened my laptop. For months, I'd been running a side project, a handmade wellness brand called Loom Plus Earth. Candles, bath salts, body scrubs. I sold them on Etsy. It started as a hobby, something creative to balance my corporate life. But that day, staring at my small shop dashboard, I felt something shift. This wasn't just a hobby anymore. This was my lifeline. I whispered to myself, this is not the end. I had 72 sales total. Barely enough to cover supplies. But I had ideas. I had to drive. And now I had time. I spent the rest of that afternoon researching how to scale, how to market, how to turn a side hustle into something real. By the time Tom came home, I'd already sketched out a plan. Tom started working longer hours after I lost my job. At first, I thought he was just stressed. But soon, his comments turned sharp. "Did you pay the electric bill?" he'd ask, even though I always did. "We need to watch spending," he'd say, eyeing my grocery bags. I reminded him I had savings. 6 months' worth. He scoffed. "Savings don't last forever, Ella." The way he said my name, cold, dismissive, stung more than the words. I tried to be patient. I cooked his favorite meals. I kept the house spotless. I applied to jobs daily, even ones I didn't want. But nothing satisfied him. One night, he came home late and didn't even greet me. He just grabbed a beer and sat on the couch, scrolling his phone. I asked about his day. He shrugged. Busy. Unlike some people. I stood there, dish towel in hand, feeling invisible. That's when I realized respect is conditional. And I'd lost him. One morning, I woke up to a notification on my phone. 42 orders overnight. I sat up in bed, heart racing. 42? I refreshed the page. It was real. A wellness influencer had shared my candles on Instagram. Her followers flooded my shop. I gasped, covering my mouth. This was it. My first viral moment. I ran downstairs, barely able to contain my excitement. Tom was at the kitchen table, scrolling his phone. "Tom, look." I shoved my screen in his face. He glanced at it. "Cute," he said flatly. "You're playing entrepreneur." Then he went back to his phone. My smile faded. Playing? I wanted to scream. Instead, I walked away. I went in my workspace, a corner of our basement, and started packing orders. Each label I printed felt like a small rebellion. He didn't believe in me, but I believed in myself. Late nights became my routine. I'd work at the kitchen table after Tom went to bed, pouring wax, mixing essential oils, printing labels. My hands ached. My back hurts. But my heart felt alive. Every order was proof. Proof that I wasn't worthless. Proof that I had value beyond a paycheck. Sometimes, I'd catch my reflection in the dark window. Tired eyes. Messy hair. But behind the exhaustion, I saw determination. I whispered to myself, "You'll see, Tom. You'll all see." I started setting goals. 100 orders a week. Then 200. I researched wholesale opportunities. I joined online communities for small business owners. People encouraged me. Strangers believed in me more than my own husband did. That realization hurt. But it also fueled me. I didn't need his approval. I needed my own. A month later, Tom got a promotion. He wanted to celebrate with a dinner party at our house. His boss, colleagues, their spouses, everyone is important. I spent the whole day cooking, cleaning, making everything perfect. When guests arrived, Tom introduced me casually. "This is Ella, my wife. She's currently between opportunities." His boss smiled politely. Someone laughed. Another guest said, "It must be nice to have a break." I forced a smile. My cheeks burned. Between opportunities. Like I was on vacation. Like I wasn't hustling every single day. I excused myself to the bathroom. I locked the door and stared at my reflection. Tears blurred my vision. But I blinked them back. I leaned close to the mirror and whispered, "You're not small. They just can't see it yet." I fixed my lipstick. I straightened my shoulders. Then I walked back out, head high. I stopped trying to explain myself. Instead, I started documenting everything. Every sale. Every goal. Every milestone. I opened a second bank account under my business name. Tom never asked about it. He barely noticed my packages arriving. I'd stack them in the basement, away from his view. Each box felt like a secret victory. My revenue doubled, then tripled. I reinvested every dollar. Better packaging. Paid ads. A simple website. I worked like my life depended on it. Because in a way, it did. This wasn't just about money. It was about proving to myself that I mattered. That I was capable. That losing my job wasn't the end, it was the beginning. Tom kept making comments. Little digs. "Still playing with candles?" he'd ask. I'd smile sweetly. Just a hobby. Let him think that. Let him underestimate me. Silence became my sharpest weapon. One afternoon, I got a call from Marlene, my old mentor from Bloom and Company. She owned a boutique chain called Haven and Home. We'd stayed in touch over the years. She asked to meet for coffee. We sat at a corner cafe, sunlight streaming through the windows. She tried my products, candles, bath salts, and a lavender scrub. Her eyes lit up. "Ella, these are incredible. Have you thought about wholesale?" My heart skipped. "Wholesale." She nodded. "I want to carry your line in all 6 of my stores." I nearly dropped my mug. 6 stores? She outlined terms. Fair prices. Consistent orders. Promotion in her newsletters. I could barely speak. Yes, I finally managed. Absolutely yes. We shook hands. As I walked to my car, tears streamed down my face. Happy tears. Grateful tears. This was real. This was happening. Tom started noticing the boxes piling up. One evening, he asked, "What's with all these packages?" I kept my tone light. "Just supplies for my hobby." He chuckled. "Good. Don't overcomplicate things." I smiled. But inside, I felt a strange satisfaction. He had no idea. No clue that his hobby wife was building something real. That night, I calculated my monthly revenue. It had crossed 5 figures. I stared at the number, disbelief washing over me. 5 figures. From candles. From something I created with my own hands. I thought about telling Tom. Sharing the news. But I remembered his dismissive tone. His mocking words. I decided to wait. Let him underestimate me. Let him think I was small. When the truth finally came out, it would be so much sweeter. My brand exploded on social media. Influencers started tagging Loom plus Earth without me even reaching out. My candles appeared in unboxing videos. My bath salts got rave reviews. Orders poured in faster than I could pack them. I hired my first employee, a college student named Maya who helped with fulfillment. Then I hired another. My basement workspace wasn't enough anymore. I rented a small studio space across town. Tom never asked where I went during the day. He assumed I was job hunting or running errands. Perfect. Marlene's boutique sold out in days. She ordered more. Then more again. I started getting inquiries from other retailers. My inbox overflowed. I could barely keep up. But I loved it. Every chaotic, exhausting moment. This was mine. Our anniversary arrived. 6 years of marriage. Tom handed me a box wrapped in silver paper. I opened it. A vacuum cleaner. I stared at it. For the house, he said, grinning. I noticed ours was getting old. I forced a smile. Thanks. I handed him my gift, a pair of elegant cufflinks. You'll need those for the next chapter, I said. He looked confused, but thanked me. That night, lying in bed, I stared at the ceiling. A vacuum cleaner. That's what he thought I needed. Not jewelry. Not flowers. Not even a kind word. A tool to clean his house. I turned over, facing away from him. Something inside me hardened. I wasn't angry anymore. I was done. A few days later, I received an email that changed everything. A wellness startup called ThriveBox wanted to feature my products in their monthly subscription boxes. Nationwide distribution. Thousands of subscribers. The deal was worth 6 figures. I read the email 3 times to make sure it was real. My hands shook as I typed my response. Yes, I'm interested. We scheduled a call. Their team loved my products. They loved my story. They wanted to partner long-term. I signed the contract on a Tuesday afternoon, sitting alone in my studio. As I closed my laptop, tears welled up. I thought about my mom, who passed away 2 years ago. She always believed in me. Mom, I whispered, I wish you could see this. This wasn't about Tom anymore. It was about proving to myself that I could rise. Tom threw another dinner party. This time, even bigger. His promotion had come with a hefty raise, and he wanted everyone to know. I played the role of a dutiful wife. Smiling. Serving appetizers. Laughing at jokes. One of his coworkers asked what I did. Before I could answer, Tom jumped in. Ella's still experimenting with candles, he said, grinning. The guy laughed. It must be nice to live the easy life. Others chuckled. I felt my face flush. But I didn't snap. I didn't defend myself. I just smiled. Because tonight, I knew something they didn't. My products were about to be featured nationwide. My revenue was approaching 7 figures. And Tom? He had no idea. I sipped my wine, savoring the secret. Let them laugh. Let them underestimate me. The truth would reveal itself soon enough. The contract signing with ThriveBox felt surreal. I sat at a cafe, stylus in hand, reviewing the final terms. 6 figures guaranteed. Potential for more based on performance. I signed my name, Ella Jensen, owner of Loom plus Earth. It felt powerful. Official. As I closed my laptop, tears blurred my vision. Not sad tears. Proud ones. I thought about the day I lost my job. How small I felt. How worthless. Now, sitting here, I realized that moment was a gift. It forced me to bet on myself. I whispered, I did it. A woman at the next table glanced over, smiling. I smiled back. For the first time in months, I felt genuinely happy. Not because of money or success, but because I'd proven something to myself. I was capable. I was strong. It was enough. A local magazine called City Pulse reached out for a feature. They were doing a series on rising entrepreneurs. I agreed to an interview. The article came out 2 weeks later. The headline read, "The quiet woman behind the fastest-growing wellness brand of the year." There was a photo of me in my studio, surrounded by candles and botanicals. I looked confident. Happy. The article detailed my journey from corporate layoff to thriving business owner. It mentioned my partnership with ThriveBox. It praised my authenticity and craftsmanship. I bought 3 copies. Tom never noticed. He was too busy bragging about his own promotion to pay attention. I kept 1 copy on my desk at the studio, a reminder of how far I'd come. The other 2? I hid them, waiting for the right moment. One afternoon, I received an unexpected email. It was from Bloom and Company, my old employer. They wanted to partner with Loom Plus Earth for their new employee wellness program. They were offering their staff curated self-care packages, and they wanted my products featured. I read the email twice, then burst out laughing. The irony was almost too perfect. The company that laid me off now wanted to buy from me. I replied professionally, outlining terms and pricing. We scheduled a call. Their HR director gushed about my brand. "We love supporting local businesses," she said. I wanted to say, "You could have supported me by not firing me." But I stayed professional. Business is business. We finalized the deal. As I hung up, I shook my head, grinning. Life has a funny way of coming full circle. Tom came home one evening, frustrated. "My company's switching suppliers again," he complained, tossing his briefcase on the counter. "Some new wellness brand. I'll have to meet with them next week." My heart skipped. I kept my face neutral. "That's annoying," I said. He nodded. "Yeah, I don't even know who they are. Probably some startup trying to make a quick buck." I turned back to the stove, hiding my smile. He had no idea. Absolutely no idea. That night, I barely slept. Nerves and excitement swirled in my chest. In a few days, Tom would walk into a conference room. He'd see my logo on the screen. He'd see me standing there, confident and professional. Every cruel joke, every dismissive comment, every moment he made me feel small, it would all come crashing down. I wasn't nervous about the meeting. I was ready. The meeting day arrived. I dressed carefully, navy blazer, white blouse, sleek ponytail. Professional. Powerful. I arrived at Tom's company 30 minutes early. The receptionist led me to a glass-walled conference room. I set up my presentation. Loom Plus Earth logo on the screen. Product samples on the table. My hands were steady. The door opened. Tom walked in, confident as always. He glanced at the screen. His steps faltered. His face went pale. Then he saw me, standing there, calm, smiling. "Mr. Jensen," I said, extending my hand. "Thank you for joining us." He stared at me like I was a ghost. His mouth opened. No words came out. His boss entered behind him. Mrs. Jensen. We're thrilled to partner with Loom Plus Earth." Tom's eyes darted between us. Confusion. Shock. Realization. I kept my smile professional. Every humiliation. Every cruel joke. This was my answer. The presentation went flawlessly. I walked them through my product line, my brand values, my growth trajectory. Tom sat frozen, barely blinking. His colleagues asked questions. I answered confidently. His boss praised my innovation, calling me a real powerhouse. When the meeting ended, they all shook my hand. Tom lingered behind. "Ella," he started. I looked at him calmly. "I'll send the contract by Friday. Looking forward to working together." Then I walked out. Professional. Untouchable. In the parking lot, I sat in my car, hands gripping the steering wheel. My heart pounded. Tears pricked my eyes, not sad ones, but tears of release. I'd done it. I'd faced him. And I'd won. Not with anger. Not with pettiness. With success. Word spread through Tom's office fast. By the end of the day, everyone knew. "She's your wife?" his coworkers asked. Tom didn't know how to respond. His boss praised me in a company-wide email, calling Loom Plus Earth an exciting new partner. Tom came home that evening and didn't speak. He went straight to the bedroom. I stayed in the kitchen, sipping tea. I wasn't angry. I wasn't even smug. I just felt free. Over the next few days, Tom tried to act normal. But I saw the cracks. He'd glance at me during dinner, like he was seeing me for the first time. One night, he finally asked, "Why didn't you tell me?" I looked at him. "You never asked." He had no response. A week later, I left him a note on the kitchen counter. It was simple. Handwritten on clean white paper. It read, Thank you for reminding me that silence can build empires. I'd already packed my things. I moved into a small apartment near my studio. Clean. Bright. Mine. Tom called. I didn't answer. He texted. I didn't respond. I wasn't interested in explanations or apologies. I was interested in moving forward. Leaving him wasn't about revenge. It was about self-respect. I deserved a partner who saw me, who valued me, who celebrated my wins instead of mocking my struggles. Tom wasn't that person. And I was done pretending he could be. A few months later, I heard through mutual friends that Tom lost his job. His company went through a merger. Leadership changed. His arrogant behavior, dismissed before, was suddenly scrutinized. He was quietly let go. I didn't feel joy hearing that. I didn't feel anything, really. Meanwhile, Loom Plus Earth was featured in Forbes. 30 under 40, entrepreneurs to watch. My face is on the cover. My story inside. I framed it and hung it in my studio. Not to brag, but as a reminder. A reminder that setbacks aren't endings. They're beginnings. That the people who doubt you don't get to define you. That quiet persistence beats loud arrogance every single time. Today, I walked through my new office. Bright. Spacious. Glass walls overlooking the city. I have a team now, 12 employees who believe in the brand as much as I do. We're expanding into skincare, into home fragrances, into partnerships I once only dreamed of. On my desk sits my very first candle. The one I made the day I lost my job. Imperfect. Handmade. A reminder of where I started. I touch it gently, feeling the weight of everything it represents. Pain. Doubt. Determination. Growth. I don't know where Tom is now. I don't check. I don't care. My story isn't about him anymore. It's about me. About the woman who refused to stay small. Who turned mockery into motivation. Who built an empire in silence. Sometimes I think about that dinner. The candlelight. The laughter. Tom's cruel joke. If I could go back, would I change anything? Honestly? No. Because that moment shattered my illusions. It forced me to see the truth. And the truth set me free. People will always underestimate you. They'll mock your dreams. Dismiss your efforts. Laugh at your ambitions. Let them. Because while they're laughing, you'll be building. Quietly. Steadily. Powerfully. The universe doesn't always punish arrogance. Sometimes, it just lets it collapse under its own weight. Never underestimate the quiet ones. We're not weak. We're not passive. We're just busy building something you'll never see coming. And when you finally do, it'll be too late. I smile, looking out at the city. I am Ella Jensen. And I am unstoppable.